in this section, we'll be looking at the Python data types. So we'll be looking at the different type of data types that we can have in Python. And data types are the classification or categorization of data items. So majorly, we can divide them into two categories. We have the primitive data type and we have the reference data type. In the primitive data type, we have string, integer, float, complex, and boolean. While in the reference data type, we have list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Okay, so let's pick them one by one. Now let's start with string. Now, when we are talking about string in Python, string is a collection of one or more character that is put in a single quote, double quote, or triple quote. So in Python, a string can be any length of character. So it can be one, it can be more than one. I mean the length, the amount of characters that we can have in a string. But a string is anything basically put inside of a quotation, either single, double, or triple. So let me quickly show us an example. We can have name equals Papi. That's double quote. Let me just add that. So double quoted string. We can also have course. Let me add Python. Okay, let's make this a single quote. Python a single quoted string, and we can also have okay, this is just bringing up something right here. Let me just add that. So I don't know why it's bringing up because it's a comment, but still let me just undo that. And we can also have like I said um triple quoted string. So let's see what we can add there. So let me say country. So let me add a triple quote and say Venezuela. Okay. So guys, let's print all of this out. Let me add this as well. Let me add a comment here. Triple quoted string. So let me add. Let's now print each of these strings out. Print name, course, then country. And once we run this, Control Shift F10, we can see them being printed out. So this is how we can initialize our strings. This is how we can create our strings in Python. So, and for us to be sure, we can also check for the type of these strings. And how do we do this? We use another inbuilt function, which is type. Just like we have been using the inbuilt function print, we can also use the inbuilt function type to check the type of these variables. And when I print it out as well, instead of it printing the value, it prints the type of that particular variable for me. So once I run this, you can see class string, class string, class string. So which is showing us that it is definitely a string. Now let's look at the next primitive data type that we have, which is the integer. Now integers are just whole numbers. They are whole numbers. So that is just what integers are. So I can decide to say age equals 7. And when I print out the type of this, we can definitely check if it is definitely an integer. So let me just print that out. And as you can see here, we are seeing class int. So integers is of the numeric data type, but what an integer is, it just comprises of whole numbers. Integers are basically whole numbers. So the next data type that we want to look at is the floating data type. We call them floats. And what are floats? Floats are decimal numbers. Floats are decimal numbers. For example, let's check quantity. Let me say quantity. And I'm saying 5.8. Now, if we check the type of this, of the quantity, we would see that it is of the floating data type. And that is just the difference between this numeric data type. Integer are whole numbers, floats are decimal numbers. The other one inside of the numeric data type is the complex. Is the complex data type. And this is the data type that consists of both the real and complex number. So here we can have, let's say I, let me just say number, num equals to 6 plus 9g. And here we have the real part and we have the um, complex part. So here, when I print out the type here to check, and once I run it, we can see it is of the complex data type. Okay, so that those the three numeric data types are integer, which are whole numbers, floats, which are decimal numbers, and complex data type. Now, moving forward, the last one among the primitive data type is the Boolean. And when we are talking about the Boolean simply means true or false. It can only take up two values, true or false. So, for instance, let's look at this. Let's say is absent. Is absent, we can set this to either true. True is one of the reserved keywords in Python, and we can also set it to false, which is also another reserved keyword. So these are the two values our Boolean can take: true or false. And once we print the type of this here is absent, we should see it is of the type Boolean. Now, as you can see, this is of the Boolean data type. Now, moving on, let's now look at the reference data types. Now, one thing that we would agree on when it comes to the primitive data type is that we can only store one value at a time. Now, what reference data type allows us to do is to store multiple values in just one single variable. So when we are talking about the reference data type, the first one we want to look at is the list. Now the list is an array, it's like an array that allows us to store multiple values by placing them in a square bracket. So that is what a list allows us to do. So here now, let me just say my list is equal to, then I can create a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here we have successfully created a list, and once I print the type here, let's check out the type of this, my list, and we can see it is of the list data type. So the other one, the next one that we want to look at is the set or the tuple. Let's check the tuple first. For us to use the tuple, we need parentheses. We make use of parentheses. So that is how we make use of the tuple. Now we will still delve deeper inside of all of these data types to look at them critically. But for now, I just want to show us how we can create each of these data type. Okay, guys. So, like I said, we make use of parentheses when we are working with tuple, and here we can set my tuple is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here I can print the type of that particular data type. And as you can see, it is of the tuple data type. So the next one we want to look at is the set. And when we are talking about the set, we make use of curly braces. So here I'm going to say my set equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we can also print that out to check as well, to check the type. Okay, so type my set, and let's print that out as well, and we can see it is of the set data type. Now the last one in the reference data type is a dictionary. So for us to create a dictionary is a key value pair. We also make use of the curly braces, but here we have a key and a value. So that is how we create a dictionary. It must have a key and a value. So let's create our dictionary and say my date equals. So let me open my curly braces. I'll hit enter. So for better formatting, we can see it clearly. I'll say A, which is going to be a string equal colon 1. So that is my first item inside of the dictionary. Then I'll say B to C 3. And if I print this variable out, the type of this variable, we can check if it is truly a dictionary. And as you can see here, we have the dictionary data type. So guys, these are the different data types that we have in Python. And as we move along in this course, we'll be delving deeper into each and every one of them. They will talk about the differences, what we can use them for, and so on and so forth. Okay, guys, If you have any questions, kindly drop it in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share as well. See you guys in the next video.